What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of JohnnyVTV Live. As usual, I'm JohnnyVTV. Join with me back in action, the birthday boy himself. Look at this kid, Nick Durst. How you doing, kid? What's going on?
I'm wondering now if I'm the oldest guy on this show. I don't know how old Kyle is, but
You got a baby face.
so we're the same age. Okay.
All right. I like it.
Kyle, what year were you born?
92,
right,
baby.
So we're the same age. So.
That's right. All right. I like it.
John, enjoy those mid-20s because the late 20s and 30s creep up on you real quick, and it's not.
It's definitely done that for me. No doubt about it.
And then we also got Kyle Donnelly below me with the nice, fresh Bojack jersey.
That's right. You got to represent the one of the better backs that never really got to prosper, unfortunately.
It's a shame, man. It's a shame. But guess what, guys? Starting it off early, JohnnyVTV Live, as always, is presented by Emerge Sports Group. Wait, that's our boy Jay Hen, right?
Speaking of old guys, yeah.
That's our boy Jay Hen. Jesus. Oh, my God. I almost forgot. We actually have Jay Hen backstage right now. Should we bring him out?
Let's do it.
Keep him back there for a while.
like Jay-Z once said, bring him out, bring him out. The kid, let's go. What's up, Jay Hen?
What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing? I heard you guys little whispers in there. Bad mouthing old guys, man. I take that to heart.
Yeah, come on. No, I can't be messing with the OGs, man. Come on, can't be doing that.
OG, triple OG. Hey, thank you guys for having me on.
Of course.
Dude, we got our sponsor on the show. I mean, it's about time. Quite frankly, I'm a little hurt that you didn't come on sooner. It's episode 8, and you're only making an appearance now. No good. What are we doing?
I had to wait, man. I had to wait till, the 8 came on. Special number there.
Ooh.
The timing had to be immaculate like it always is. And sometimes you got to wait for the right things to emerge before they happen. So, you know where I'm going with that one, man.
I see what you did there. I see what you did.
No, I appreciate you guys.
Beautiful plug.
Yeah, I think just, I love talking hoops, love talking sports. Definitely enjoy the relationship with you and Nick, man, and I'm excited to be on here.
Justin, why don't you tell us a little bit about our sponsor, your company?
Emerge Sports Group. So we help athletes get exposure. That's right. We work with basketball players and others in the sports field in order to get them exposure, whether that's events, PR, marketing, you name it. Emerge Sports Group is here for the athletes. We are the brand, so it's not necessarily like we don't represent like LeBron James or any of the big names. We're not like, hey, Luka, where you at? Sign on the dotted line with us. But we help the underrepresented athletes, the ones who are trying to get other brand deals, knock them down. So that's what my business does. And I also host a podcast called Just Hoop Talk. Yeah, we're talking hoops, man. And we got playoff talk going on right now. So that's the hot topic that everybody wants to talk about. And don't ask me about my Lakers right now, man.
Well, it's funny you brought up the hoop talk because guess what, dude?
Jay Hen, you're not going to like my pick later.
Kyle, was I talking or was I talking?
I just had to interject one quick thing. Now you can do what you got to do.
You don't know Bo.
Okay. Can I finish? Is that all right with you? Can I finish? Great. So that being said, we do have basketball tonight. It just so happens your Lakers are facing elimination, Game 6 in LA. My opinion, the game is on way too late, 10:30 Eastern time. No good.
Oh, it's perfect. 7:30. It's perfect.
Stop. Nonetheless, we got a game. So, Jay Hen, Suns, Lakers, Game 6 tonight. Who you got?
Oh, it's only right. Got the Laker jersey on. I'm a Lakers fan, die hard. I'm a LeBron James stan. It's only right that I picked the Suns tonight, man, to close it out. Suns close it out, and it's a shame. It's a shame, man. I want to pick the Lakers. The fan in me would obviously say the Lakers, but the hoop analyst in me, the diehard NBA fan in me says, you know what? Unless AD magically comes back and looks good and looks the part, this is going to be a tough game for the Lakers to win. And so I think the Suns right now, Chris Paul's getting healthy. He's getting to a place where even if he's not 100%, he's able to function on the court. And the Suns team is deep, man. We've seen Mikal Bridges really step it up. We've seen Jay Crowder really step it up. Devin Booker, obviously, and DeAndre Ayton are playing extremely well. And this team is an actual team. It's not two players with a couple of outcasts that are trying to make a move. This is a real basketball team, and I respect what the Suns are doing. Lakers right now are obviously a LeBron or an AD away from making that push, and neither of them are really at full strength. So you got Schroeder putting up 0 points. You got Drummond playing like Andre Drummond. I don't see this thing. I don't see how the Lakers win. Pull it out tonight.
Does LeBron have a monster game tonight?
So that's the thing everybody's saying. You know, if he's really in the GOAT convo, which I got LeBron as the GOAT. If he's in the GOAT conversation with MJ, if he's –
I don't like it either, but –
Huh?
I'm looking up at Johnny's reaction up there in the corner, and I'm like, I don't like it either, but we'll let you –
We can talk about that later for sure.
All I'll say is MJ would never walk into the tunnel with 5 minutes left, no
Thank
matter
you.
how much
He's done there.
It's not the first time he's done this. LeBron, as great of a player as he is, he's a quitter. He always has been and always will be a quitter. Couldn't get it done in Cleveland. He had to go jump ship to Miami. A ton of things. His whole career, he is a quitter. Michael Jordan would never do that. Michael Jordan's a killer. He'd
punch his
down
teammate in the face. That's what Michael Jordan would do.
He's down to
Hell
the
yeah,
wire.
win a game.
But so we praise Michael Jordan
I'm exaggerating.
for punching somebody in the face during practice. We praise Michael Jordan for belittling all of his teammates. But LeBron does something. He's like, you know what? I need to remove myself from the game because I have an ankle injury and there's 5 minutes left of a blowout. Now LeBron's the guy. We can't call it GOAT.
No,
Besides
that's not
that,
what it is. That's not what it is.
That is what it is.
No, it's not.
Everybody thinks
Listen.
he's a baby.
No.
He's a crybaby. That's why I don't like
Hold
him. I
on.
don't respect his game.
Hold on. Excuse me. Hold on. My issue is not with him taking himself out of the game with 5.5 minutes in a game that you're not going to win. I have no problem with that. That's fine. Don't go into the tunnel. Stay out there in your team. An extra 5.5 minutes is not going to make a difference. It's more of a goodwill gesture. You're the face of the team now. You're supposed to be the guy who's chasing Michael Jordan's ghost. Stay out there on the sideline with your team and just finish it out. It's more of just you're a leader. Act like a leader, not just on the court, but when you come off the court as well.
I get where you're coming from, but we're looking between the lines. When I talk about basketball, I talk about greatness and what LeBron does. It doesn't. The extra stuff doesn't matter to me. I don't care how he is with his teammates. I don't care about leadership. I care about what he did on the court, what happened during the games. To me, that's what matters. And so with LeBron, when I look at the stats, I look at the overall body of work. To me, he doesn't need to solidify it tonight with a Game 6 LeBron game at 36 years old. To me, that doesn't change it. He's already established who he is, his legacy, topping in points, assists, rebounds, steals, defense, playoff performances, game winners, percentage, like you name it, LeBron is at the top of a lot of these categories, including in the playoffs where he's the leader by like 2,000 points overall ever in his career. So you talk about a guy like LeBron versus MJ, I get why you say MJ. He's the GOAT. He was a cemented GOAT a lot earlier on, and it's tough to take somebody off the mantle. But when you got the body of work LeBron James has from the year 18 to year 36 right now, he's in year 18 at age 36. To me, it speaks for himself. And tonight, a Game 6, if he doesn't have 40 and 15 and 10, it doesn't bother me. If they lose tonight, it doesn't bother me. I know what he's up against.
Well, they're probably going to lose. I mean, much like you, I'm in my Lakers gear as well. I'm wearing the Anthony Davis street clothes attire because this guy's a bum who is bum knee. He can't. This big guy's breaking down here. He's a loser, and LeBron's probably so pissed at this guy because Anthony Davis did not come into this season in shape. So he broke down. He missed a ton of games. He's missed games every year of his career. There's a reason why the Pelicans were horrific with him. It's because he was lazy. He can't be the guy. LeBron put all his eggs in the Anthony Davis basket. He's not regretting it because they did win the championship last year, but this team needs to be totally retooled. They're definitely missing Rajon Rondo, I think, because he was keeping guys in check along with LeBron. And LeBron's just tired at this season, and he's showing his old age here. So I think this is the end for the Lakers. Anthony Davis probably dresses for this game. What does he play? 8 minutes? Gives you like 2 points. He's not going to be doing anything defensively. So we'll see what the Lakers' future holds here. And I said this on Justin Henry's show months ago when I was on with Joe Calabrese, my co-host of Right. I said LeBron's next move here is like he's gonna hope he wins some titles with the Lakers. Then wherever his son gets drafted, he's gonna go sign with his son, and they're gonna get Zion to be traded from the Pelicans to that team, and he's gonna try to get as many more titles as he can, which is not going to make Johnny VTV too happy because he'll be going to his 5th team, 4th franchise.
Bro, does this like this is what I can't stand about the NBA. I stopped watching the NBA years ago. I can't stand it. It's brutal, dude. Like LeBron started all this when he had to go to the Heat. Now you had Durant go to the Warriors. And I love KD. KD's been one of my favorite players the last 10 years. I love Kevin Durant. I think he's a little sensitive, but I think he's a great player. He's a killer. He's a guy I want the ball in his hands for the last shot. I love Steph Curry, but they did the same thing. Now everybody goes and teams up on the Nets. LeBron goes to the Lakers and starts picking out guys. This is just ridiculous, man. Like, I don't like this era of basketball. Like, basketball's such a great game, but the league just allows these players to go do this. Like, it's like calling up 10 of your friends, say, hey, guys, let's go do 5-on-5 pickup. Like, I don't like this. It's so stupid. And the NBA is taking a page out of the MLB handbook with all these contracts and these max contracts and all this player association stuff. I think it's ridiculous. Now LeBron's just like, you know what? I'm out of LA. Let me go somewhere else. And you know what? I'm going to go pick this, and that guy. They're going to get out of their contracts. Or you know what? We're going to get 3 supermax contracts and 2 solid role players. Like somebody how a Joe Harris for the Nets has stepped up this year. Like he's not a guy you think about when it comes to the Nets, but he's had a really good season. I just don't like it. I think it's bad for the game. And the NBA is they're so fake with the way they do this stuff. It's not good. Like, this is not competitive. This is not how we grew up in the 2000s or the 90s. I mean, maybe here and there guys would join together and create a great team, but you have 3. Look at the Nets, dude. You have Durant, Harden, and Kyrie Irving. They're 3 of arguably the top 8-9 players at their peak on one team. Does that seem like it's good for the game of basketball?
That's why I have so much respect for Giannis Antetokounmpo because he signed the max with the team that drafted him. Yeah. Not a hot spot in Milwaukee. Stayed there. Nets better watch out for the Bucks. I know Justin disagrees, but respect to him. He's trying to make it his team. He's not trying to jump ship to change teams. But this is the era we live in. And until there's something done with the CBA, the owners are going to continue to coward out and give these people their demands. There was no reason for the Pelicans to have to trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers. Davis had no power, but they gave him what he wanted, and the Pelicans were horrible. So that's what happened. But they afforded us different opportunities. That's just the way the league is right now, and the money is out of control. You're right, Johnny. Because if the Knicks go and sign Julius Randle, who was horrible in the playoffs, to the max contract. I mean, that's just horrible. It ruins their franchise move forward, and it just overinflates, the amount of money. If Julius Randle's making the same amount of money as Kevin Durant and LeBron James, something's majorly wrong there.
Yeah. I got a quick question for the room here. Now, Anthony Davis, does he get traded at the end of the season? And if so, where do you think? I think maybe a possibility for him to move to, if he gets moved.
Yeah, we're going to see him this summer on the Toon Squad in Space Jam 2, but he'll be back with the Lakers in the fall.
Oh, that's another thing.
He'll be back with the Lakers because he just signed a 5-year deal with the Lakers this offseason, or just right at the beginning of this season. So if anybody's going to move, it'll be LeBron after next year. But I definitely think that they're going to pair some pieces up and try to acquire another superstar. Like you mentioned, Johnny, unfortunately, this is the era of 3 superstars. If you don't have 3 superstars, it's tough to win. The Lakers did last year, but they had the right supporting pieces. And it's tough, man. It's tough because you look at, even with Giannis' situation, they didn't just keep Giannis in Middleton. They had to trade for Drew Holiday. They had to get the 3rd star. You look at the Phoenix Suns right now. They had to go get Chris Paul. They had to get the 3rd superstar. And that's what these teams are doing. The teams that are rising have 3 superstars. And unless you've got 2 top 5, 2 top 10 guys, or unless you're Luka, you got to have the superstars in order to be competitive.
What about the Miami Heat last year? I mean, they have a great group. I mean, Jimmy Butler's no slouch. Jimmy Butler's one of the best players in basketball, but he's not – Jimmy Butler's not LeBron. He's not Greek Freak. He's not James Harden. Like, he's a great player, but he's not that guy that you're looking at to carry. He's a guy who could spearhead the operation, but he needs the talent around him, which, he does. But the Heat aren't that team that's going out and signing all these max contracts and picking out all these guys. I mean, it seems like they're very homegrown with maybe a strong acquisition or two. But like they're an example of you don't have to go out and super max 3 guys.
I don't know, because they just re-upped Bam Adebayo. He just got the max contract. Jimmy Butler.
I'm talking about 2020.
Yeah, even last year they signed Jimmy Butler last year to the team. You know, I think they had some strong bets. Like they made the move to get Andre Iguodala last year. They had Jay Crowder last year, Gordon Dragic last year. I mean, they had some really good talent on the team too. It's just in this era right now, if you try to do it by yourself, you're going to get burnt out. We see what's happening with like I said, with Luka. We saw what was happening for years with anyway, I literally
Dirk.
Yes. And so we have players who have been by themselves. And unfortunately, that league right now, Damian Lillard is who I was thinking of. Lillard tried to do it himself for years. And guess what? He got to the conference finals and got hit by the Warriors. We saw his 55% performance the other night, 55 points. And he lost. They lost to a team that was just a little bit deeper. So when you're trying to do it by yourself, and you can't do it the same way you used to. And the Bulls had 3 superstars when they were winning too back in the day.
Very true. Very true. I just don't like what I'm seeing out here from the game. And, you know, I came on your show months ago and you asked me, who do I think is going to win? I said the Nets. I mean, I still think that it's a pretty strong bet. The Nets, I think, are going to win. They're going to have a tough test here going against Milwaukee. I mean, this was the thing you pointed out to me was, well, what happens when they run into Milwaukee in the postseason? I said, well, if they're fully healthy, I mean, they're a tough team to defend. As great as Greek Freak
they play
is,
great defense too.
Yeah, but I mean, Greek Freak could come out here and throw 40, 15, and 10, and, you know, the Bucks could still lose by 10 just because how deep. Like, if the big three's coming out here and putting up 75 points pretty much every game, and then you got Joe Harris coming off the bench with 20, and then you fill in the rest. I mean, that's a tough team to beat.
I still like the Bucks, and I know Nick said
I know you do. I know you do. You told me about that.
I didn't like the Bucks, but I do like the Bucks, and I actually have them winning in 7 against the Nets. And I think in the playoffs, the big key for the playoffs is, can you get stops? When it's equal amount of superstars, is who can get the last stop. The defensive team normally wins, and everybody actually talks about the Golden State Warriors being the one team that really didn't have defense, and they were a top-rated defense during the time that they were there in the finals. They were always top 5. Top 8, top 1, like they were the number 1 defense for one of those years that they won the championship. So I think defense is the most important thing. Can you get stops? And that's why I feel like this Nets team is going to struggle. Down low, they don't have a presence. Yeah, they got the superstars. They can hit the shots. They got the championship experience. But can you get the stop? And I think that's where you got a guy like Drew Holiday, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, those are guys that get stops.
So if the Nets do get knocked out by the Bucks, what do you say their next move is, Jahan?
The Nets, the Nets are stuck. They got Kyrie might retire. Like, that's the Nets situation right now. To me, is a bunch of.
He should retire. He does not care about basketball. Why don't they trade him to the Wizards for Russell Westbrook and then
let him think of walking out the league?
It's, to me, like, if he retires, that's fine. I understand. You might have a bigger purpose in basketball. Cool, go run with it. Or maybe you like to play and do both. And I think that's what Kyrie does. He just doesn't do it professionally. That's fine. There's been plenty of players who have not been professional, including 2 on his team, Kevin Durant and James Harden. You got 2 other players who aren't really professionals when it comes to the basketball thing. And when you mix those personalities together, to me, it screams, hey, we have talent, but we're not an organization. We're not a true team. And I think that's where they're going to run into issues, because there's teams out there. The Sixers are a better team than they are. The Bucks are a better team than they are.
Just real quick, that's another thing about the Sixers. I heard this garbage for everybody's heard this garbage for 6 years. Trust the process. What process is that? Tank, win 10 games, collect number 1 pick after number 1 pick. Most of them don't pan out. Then they go make a trade. They still tank. And then finally, after like 7 years, you have a team that might actually be able to make a run. Trust the process. My ass. That's ridiculous. That's just a quick thought. So please continue.
2 years away from being 2 years away is the motto. They're always 2 years away, but it never panned out. And I think what the goal was is actually you're starting to see the fruition of that now. but it's because they've made smart moves. And I think getting Doc Rivers, getting a player like Tobias Harris, an underrated pickup with Seth Curry for them, you start to build around those guys, you can win. You don't tank for like every single pick in the draft like the OKC Thunder are doing. They have like 15 picks, 15 first-round picks in the next 5 years. It makes no sense. But the process is try to find superstars, build around them. And when you get guys like Dwight Howard, Danny Green, who bring that championship experience, I really like what Doc Rivers and the Sixers organization have done. Daryl Morey's done a hell of a job since he's been there. I think they handle business against Atlanta, and I think it's Sixers and Bucks for the Eastern Conference Finals. I couldn't pick a winner right now.
It depends. If Embiid's not playing, I think the Hawks could win. But, Doc Rivers has been great. And what do the Clippers do from here when they're going to have another first-round exit? Ty Lue is not a good coach. I'm sorry. Doc Rivers is better.
Jay Hen, we appreciate you stopping by. We know you got kids to tend to. I don't know what's on the menu for dinner tonight. Well, I mean, it's 3 hours behind. Maybe mac and cheese. That was always my favorite growing up. But listen, bro, we really appreciate you stopping by, talking hoops, and we'll be looking for a nice Lakers exit tonight.
Oh, man, I hope not. Thank you guys for having me on, man. It's been fun talking hoops. And go Knicks, huh?
Yo, Jay Hen.
What happened with
good
them,
talking.
man?
Yeah, really, no kidding. They bottomed out.
Julius Randle and
Good
RJ
talking.
Barrett are not good. That's what happened.
Not at all. Signing off. All right, fellas.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later, man. Oh, sorry.
Disappeared
Good
for a
guy,
second.
man. That's our boy, Jay Hen, baby. So basketball, we talked a lot about what's going on in the NBA right now.
I
Switching
like how unbiased he was picking the Suns tonight.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Switching it up. That's why he talks just hoops. We got baseball. Red hot Tampa Bay Rays and the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs coming into today, winners of their 12. They won 11 of their last 12. I don't know what the hell's gotten into them. I mean, I predicted that this season they were going to be just short of their win total, which was right in the low 80s, high 70s. You had the Javi Baez, Rizzo, Bryant, which, they've been very good. That wasn't the problem. It was just the rest of the cast, it was the pitching staff. But you know what, man? Here they are. They're sitting atop the NL Central, and then flipping it over. You got in the AL East, arguably the best division in baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays, who just find ways to win. They've won 17 of their last 22. They took an absolute dump on the Yankees today with Garrett Cole on the bump. Guys, what do we think about these teams? How deep can they go?
Here's the thing on the Cubs. They can go as deep as their front office lets them go because
Weren't they a dumpster fire like a year and a half ago?
who, the Cubs? They
we thought they were going to trade Baez and Bryant.
They always have a winning record.
Getting rid of Brian and whatnot?
If you would let me speak, Kyle, you're having a problem interrupting people today.
Sorry, my mic is muted.
What I was going to say was they'll go as far as the front office lets them because they're not planning to re-sign Bryant. So are you going to just play it out with Bryant, or are you going to trade him and get some prospects? Baez is a free agent. Rizzo is a free agent. They'll probably maybe sign two of those guys. And it really is the NL Central is pretty weak. So the Cardinals are there. It's either going to be the Cardinals or the Cubs. Maybe the Brewers could sneak in there. But I think it really depends on the front office. Do the Cubs look at this and say, can we beat the Padres? Can we beat the Giants? Can we beat the Dodgers in the postseason? Can we actually make a run here? And if they say to themselves, yes, then I think they keep the Cubs intact, and the Cubs will be back in the playoffs. Once again, they made it, I think, 6 of the last 7 years or something like that.
Do you see the Reds contesting in that division at all, or no, Nick?
The Cincinnati Reds, they'll be contesting for like the top pick in the draft.
Dude, Nick's so witty.
I just thought they had some young talent there.
They do, but they just
They got Johnny's guy, Nick Castellanos.
That is my boy, dude. He's maybe the most underrated superstar in the MLB. The guy literally breathes extra base hits. If you guys weren't paying attention, he's leading the league in average. You know who's right behind him? His teammate, the guy who bats leadoff, who I actually love that move with power, Jesse Winker. They're killing it, man. They got talent. They're not there. They have a couple things they have to get straightened out. Luis Castillo, I thought he was going to win a Cy Young in his career. He has taken a sharp nosedive. He's been nothing but terrible all season long. Dude, they're not going to compete. I still think the Cardinals take that division. The Cubs, I think sooner or later the Cubs are just going to pick it apart. They're not keeping all these guys. They're going to have to rebuild. They are missing too many pieces.
Yeah, I think, every team in the AL East should be trying to get Chris Bryant because he would just be tremendous and put them over the top. The Mets should get Chris Bryant to shake out in the offseason. And if, like I said, the front office for the Cubs is important here because they know Bryant is not going to re-sign with them because they kept him in the organization extra year, kept in the minor leagues, so he wouldn't be a free agent last offseason. So there's no chance he's going to re-sign with them, and somebody's going to pay him big time. And people are saying he's on decline. Bryant right now, to me, along with Tatis and DeGrom, are your top 3 guys for the MVP in the NL.
You know what the problem is here? For all the teams that were hoping to pick up a Chris Bryant or a Javi Baez, I think at this point in the season, we're at June 3rd, I think a lot of these teams, or at least some of them, were counting on the Cubs being, 5 games under 500 at best. I think a lot of them were counting on them to be out. But the fact is that they're 10 games over, whatever they are, they're sitting pretty right now. Unless the Cubs take a major nosedive over the next month or the month of June, I mean, dude, I don't see them trading any of these guys because if you're a team that's 10 games over 500 middle of the season, you're not throwing in the towel. Contracts regardless. I mean, I just don't see it. So that's the one thing that's going to hurt these guys. So maybe you can steal one of the.
That's why the trade deadline July 31st. We got ton of games left here in the next month, and that's going to determine things big time. You rarely see early June or May trades. The team has to be like the Twins or the Orioles or the D-backs in order to see that happen. Nobody's making trades right now, and with the extra, way the postseason is with the 2 wild cards now, everybody's in it. And in the NL East, there's one team up top. Everybody else is 4.5 behind, but that's it. They're under 500. They're all still in it. AL East, you got 4 teams going for it. So there's very minimal sellers at this point in the season.
Yeah, nobody's the A's and Moneyball right now, huh?
Tampa Bay Rays, baby. That brings it up, man. They shellacked the Yanks today.
Garrett Cole.
They were the beneficiary of some very generous umpiring in Yankee Stadium today, which was unbelievable if either of you fellas watched the game at all. But regardless, man.
Yankees got smacked. That's all I saw.
Dude, listen, I picked the Yankees to win the division. I thought they were going to be over 100 wins. And you know what? They had time to turn it around. They're not playing bad by any stretch, but they're definitely not playing anything close to what they should be. I mean, they can't hit with runners in scoring position. But let's not take away from the Rays here because, dude, yet again, this might be a team that wins 90 games. They're well on the fast track, too. They are just getting – it's so funny, and Michael K pointed this out on the broadcast. In the 8th inning, I want to say, up 9-2, Kevin Kiermaier was up. He hit a rocket to second base, routine ground ball out. It doesn't sound like much, and he said this. You know what he said? Kiermaier sprinted down to first base like it was Game 7 of the World Series, trying to beat it out. Up 9-2 at the end of the game. That's the type of mentality Kevin Cash instills in his team. That doesn't seem like much, but going back to what Jim Thome said years ago, he goes, little things win rings. That's the type of hustle and mentality that might not make a difference right then, but when you keep doing it game after game, day after day, it compounds and it creates a hustle attitude, a never quitting attitude. I love that, man. That's what's special about the Tampa Bay Rays because these guys are professional ball players making big time money. Not everybody does that.
Something happened with Nick here. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe his computer gave out. Oh, there he is.
The Rays, I love them smacking the Yankees around. I mean, that's just
who wouldn't? Who doesn't love
who
that?
Wouldn't? Who wouldn't? But they lost the other 2, but they got the split. They're high right now. The Rays are always going to be contenders. So the Rays are going to be in the playoffs. The Yankees are probably going to be in the playoffs. We got to see what is going to happen with these Red Sox and the Blue Jays because they're not all going to make the playoffs. And the Rays, they do things the right way. The franchise is built well. They, as crazy gardeners going off my background here, but they know what to do. They know when to make their trades to get new prospects. They did it to get Glass now. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I expect the Sox to bottom out at some point this year. And honestly, they need to sell Matt Barnes at the absolute highest that they can get him right now. The fact that they haven't done that is completely heresy to their franchise.
Well, you know what, Kyle? I think just because they're still in the mix right now, and
I want him gone.
I know, but they have 2 months to go, so I think they're going to wait to bottom out. And selling him right now doesn't make any sense. You're not getting anything for him right now. The team, what you want to do is ride it out, see what you got, because maybe guess what? Boston's buyers at the deadline. I wouldn't do anything. First of all, it's way too early. 1, 2. What you want to do is you want to wait. If you're done and you decide to throw in the towel, right before July 31st, you got to find a desperate team that needs a closer. I could think of several teams that need a strong relief pitcher because Matt Barnes has been, for the most part, very strong this year. So you got to see who's going to be paying top dollar for a guy like that, which is not happening early June. Speaking of, guys, the Rays, as good as they've been, the guy they roughed up today, which, by the way, I don't think the score is necessarily as indicative as the game went. The Yankees got absolutely hosed on a lot of calls, and kind of one thing led to another. That's what made everything go out of control. That's what forced Garrett Cole to not go deeper into this game, which, by the way, I think Aaron Boone made a mistake. He pulled Cole after 5 innings when he only had like 91 pitches. Yes, he had a rough 5th inning, but with
taking a page out of the Mets playbook there. Pull the starters quick.
With the bullpen being as overworked as it has, you got to leave Cole in there for the 6th inning. And I'm not saying that because I had the strikeout over today. Dude, Garrett Cole. What has been happening to him? He has not been sharp in the month of May. April, he was dominant. So you're going to be like, oh, John, what are you talking about? Like, look at his lines. Yes, understand. He has not pitched bad. Not at all. But if you watch the games, he is not as sharp as he was. There is something missing. Garrett Cole, strikeout-wise, in the month of May, I think only has 1 game that he's hit his over. That was last time out, which was like 3 weeks ago against the Rays in Tampa when he struck out 12. Today, he didn't put a lot of counts when he had 0-2, 1-2, 2-2. He let too many of those escape him. But I mean, guys, look at his stuff. He's not locating like he normally is. His breaking ball isn't getting as many swings and misses as it normally does. And put it in perspective, he's still pitching pretty solid. Like, look at his lines. Look at what he's done. He's not pitched bad. It's just not signature Garrett Cole, the guy who's contending to be the best pitcher in baseball, which he's not, but he's, trying to do so.
Well, let me make sure. Is this thing on? Because I want everybody to hear this. The problem with Garrett Cole is the guy's not an ace. He's never been the ace other than with the Pirates. He was the 2nd best pitcher on the Astros. Everyone said, oh, he's the best pitcher in baseball. But the same season, Justin Verlander won Cy Young. So where did all this Garrett Cole is the best come from? And the Yankees are not known for pitching. They're known for hitting. And sometimes if the team's not hitting, then it kind of gets in the pitcher's head like, oh, I don't have the run support today. I got to go out there and strike everybody out. And that rarely ever works. It's bad for the psyche of the pitcher.
Yeah, the Yankees really, like you said there, Nick, they're more of a hitting team. They're not really relying on pitching as their history has showed. That being said, I don't know what the funk is going on with Garrett Cole right now. It's a mystery. It's a complete mystery to me as why he's not pitching as well. I mean, you saw the highlight years ago or a year or two ago where he's releasing 3 different pitches from the same arm angle, and the ball drops off 3 different ways, and it's incredible. But I don't know what's going on with him this year. I don't think it's the bright lights in New York, but I do think that he needs to figure it out quickly before the fans turn on him.
You know what the interesting thing is? It's probably more of a joke, but you know how the MLB imposed a 10-game ban on any like foreign substance for a pitcher? So I think he used to have a lot of pine tar, and like he would go to it. And the first game that he doesn't have it today is the same game he has easily his worst or second and worst start of the season, giving up 5 runs in only 5 innings. I don't know if there's any correlation there, but it's definitely
worth noting.
A little funny coincidence. He wasn't getting as many. He still had 7 strikeouts through 5 innings, and he easily could have had more. He should have had one more. He got absolutely robbed by the disaster of Chad Winstrom, the home plate umpire today. Easily got robbed, and he couldn't put out some of these guys. He had them 0-2, 1-2, 2-2, leaving pitches very hittable and strikeout counts. But I mean, that being said, we might be nitpicking here, but it's clear if you've been watching the Yankees, Garrett Cole is nowhere near as sharp as he was in April. And it's noteworthy because you want to throw a guy like that, the ace, out there, knowing he's going 7 shutout innings no matter who he's facing.
The other thing I'll say is in April, the pitchers always have the advantage. They have been pitching longer spring training. And when it's cold, I always give the advantage to the pitchers because it's a lot tougher to hit.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's something that's worth noting. I mean, I think he's going to have to fix a couple things. Maybe it could be mental. Like, you see his body language if you watch the game after his first or second inning, shaking his head, like he's got like a look on his face, like he knows he's not at his best. It's body language. You could just kind of tell. I mean, maybe it's a mechanical thing. It could be mental at this point. Who knows? But, well, remains to be seen. But moving on here. We mentioned this last week, Kyle, with our very great guest, senior editor for Covers, Andrew Cayley, big Toronto Blue Jays fan, about who he's looking at for the MVP.
That's
One
right.
name I brought up, and preseason I highlighted on my picks that this guy was my value pick for the AL MVP at plus 3,500. And I didn't bet it because I didn't take any individual props. I just did team props and World Series. I didn't do nothing special with individual players. Although now I wish that I had, because the value was so massive and he had a realistic shot at winning, because the AL in terms of position players, it was wide open this year aside from Mike Trout. And that guy is Vladdy Jr., hitting .335, good for third in the MLB, 17 home runs, tied for first, 45 RBIs, which is good for second in the MLB, with an 11.05 OPS, good for number 1. The Blue Jays are hovering around 500. They're in the mix in the AL East. They're probably not going to do it this season, but I mean, Jesus, look at what this kid does, man. He has just brought a revitalized energy to his game and to the team in Toronto. And I mean, this kid he's incredible. We knew it, but now we're seeing it, and we're seeing it on a night in and night out basis. I love what I'm seeing from Vlad Jr.
Yeah, Vlad Jr. right now is the MVP of the AL. We'll see how things shake out, if he has the stamina to keep this up, but he's on pace to hit over 40 home runs, driving 110 RBIs. So that'd be a tremendous season. And I think Kyle is probably going to agree with me here. The only guy that can really stand in his way is Mr. Showtime, Shohei Ohtani.
That would be right, Mr. Nick Durst. That would be the only person I really think that has a shot at standing in his way at this point of the year. I think it's just a two-horse race at this point, and it should be quite a finish to see. I hope they light up baseball the way that Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa did. I don't think we'll get anything quite like that, but I would love to see something really interesting. I'm just saying, Johnny, just to get baseball.
I'd love to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit 71 home runs. It'd be awesome.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be great to see?
No shot.
I'm not saying it will. I'm not saying it will happen, but I'm just saying, hey, in a fantasy land, wouldn't it be great to see them two light it up? Hey, even if they both hit 50, I think that's great.
Something I have to say, I love how Shohei Ohtani, has produced. I mean, he's an exciting player to watch. He's one of the most exciting guys to watch at this juncture. People ask me, do you think Ohtani has a shot to win MVP this year? But coming into the season, I didn't think so, because it was going to be tough for him to even beat out his own teammate. But now that Mike Trout's on the shelf for 6, maybe 8 weeks, who knows how he's going to heal? Guys, I don't know. I mean, it's just hard to imagine him. It's just hard to imagine him. His average is not good enough. Him as a pitcher, he's not there yet. I don't care what his stats say. The guy made it past 5 innings one time. He walks way too many batters. Yes, he strikes a lot of guys out, but I mean, Tyler Glasnow, Shane Bieber strike out 8 guys every single time out consistently and let up less than 2 runs usually. I mean, yes, they don't hit 15 home runs and hit 100 miles an hour, but at the end of the day, man, like if you're going to be the MVP, you're going to have to put up respectable numbers. I mean, what would you rather have right now, Ohtani's statistics or Vladdy Jr.'s, just because Ohtani could pitch? I mean, it's not even a comparison. There's nothing Ohtani does better offensively at this juncture than Vlad Guerrero on the offensive end, except for steal bases. That's it. But as a hitter, I mean, Vlad Jr. right now, the only other guy you might be able to throw into the mix, and he's kind of in the same boat with the team's success, is JD Martinez. I mean, the guy's batting .322. He's got 12 home runs. He's got mid-30s in the RBIs. But, I mean,
he's having an okay year.
No, listen, absolutely. But the thing is JD Martinez, is he going to be enough? Because, listen, the guy hit .330 with 40 home runs, but he lost out to his teammate Mookie Betts. JD Martinez wasn't even nominated the year that he could have won MVP.
That was atrocious, though.
I was furious about that. I was like, listen, if he doesn't win, fine, because Mookie Betts was very well deserving, and I have no problem with Mookie Betts winning. But the fact that JD Martinez wasn't even nominated,
not even acknowledged.
Not even acknowledged. It was disgusting to me. That's the only guy that might be able to stand in his way. I mean, but the problem is they have a tough time giving it to a DH.
This is what I will say about Ohtani here. If he is within 5, with the home runs or RBIs of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., then he's going to win the MVP, because if he pitches the way he is now, in the sense that he's got he doesn't go in deep in games, but he's got a 2.72 ERA, and he is striking some guys out. 50 guys are striking out. So the fact that if he has, and we've said this to me and Kyle many times, if he has a season where he's pitching to a 3.30 ERA, he's making 28 starts, it's going to be hard for the writers to ignore that if he continues offensively with the way he has been.
I disagree. I mean, listen, they might like it because they love the spectacle of the whole thing, that he's a two-way player. He's a great athlete. Like, dude, the guy beats out routine ground balls to the shortstop for base hits. Like, he's ridiculous. Absolutely no question about it. But when you look at Vladimir Guerrero Jr., bro, like, if the guy's hitting 330 and pacing the MLB in home runs, RBIs, I mean, even if he doesn't pitch, I said this from the jump. Ohtani has to do something so spectacular to even have a shot. He's lucky Mike Trout's out, for the fact that Trout, he's not taking votes away from him. Trout's going to win it with a typical Trout season. But also what hurts him now is because Trout's not in the lineup, Ohtani doesn't get pitched to the same way. I mean, dude, the guy's got a 270 average. I mean, listen, if you're top 5.
But Ohtani's only 2 home runs behind Guerrero Jr. and 5 RBIs, so he could tie him tonight. You don't know, but I think
I don't know about tonight, but yeah, he's right there.
But dude, the average is 60. The average is 60 points lower.
All right, is Kyle
average isn't that big in baseball?
Are you playing Xbox, Kyle?
Yeah, I got the head coach 09 going in the background. I'm a nerd.
God damn it. Listen, you're going to tell me that Ohtani is going to win. It took my focus. But you're going to tell me Ohtani's going to win MVP with 60 points lower in batting average just because he pitches to a 3 ERA?
If the home runs and the RBIs are the same, yeah.
I think that would be atrocious. I think that really would be, considering the fact that both teams don't make the playoffs. And listen, Vladimir Guerrero's defense too, it's probably not Gold Glove, but he's stepped up as a defender, man. Like, you saw the hustle play the other day. Like, he got a ground ball to first. It's going to be bang, bang. Head first dive to get the out. Listen, Ohtani's got to pick it up, man. Ohtani's got to get his average close to 300. If he's going to be within 5 home runs and 5 RBIs of Vladdy, he's got to get that average up to 290 if Vlad finishes to, let's say, a 315, a 310. I still don't think it's going to be enough, but I guess we'll find out. We don't have votes, but
You think we should, though, at some point, right?
I think I should. Definitely. I'll do it completely unbiased.
Well, you do have a vote when
100%.
you do have a vote when it comes to your betting trends. So why don't we say some betting trends that you got
You're
going
right.
on?
Well, since we're on a little bit of a later show, Thursday today was a very early slate. Didn't do so well. That's very atypical. So we had Ronald Acuna over 1.5 total bases. Had a hit today. He had a hit in 7 of his last 9 games coming into the day. Got a base hit, 1 for 2. He walked twice, just couldn't get it. And the one out was, believe it or not, it was a check swing, and it was like a waste of that bat. So that was unfortunate. Then we had the White Sox tonight, first 5, minus half a run, minus 132 against the Detroit Tigers, actually shoving Casey Mize for the Tigers. He's actually been pretty solid. The reason I love the White Sox, they're easily the best first 5 team in baseball. They're the best first 5 team at home in baseball. Lance Lynn is the best first 5 pitcher in baseball in terms of ERA. He has innings 1 through 5, a .71 ERA. That is ridiculous. So, naturally you got to give that a shot, and the price is pretty solid. Next, today we have the Yankees first 5, minus half a run at minus 124. Thought was Garrett Cole is going to come out there, throw 5 scoreless, and the Yankees were going to be able to muster 1 measly run. They had the lead until Cole gave it up on an Austin Meadows bomb. That's what we're talking about, that he's not himself, even though Austin Meadows is one of the hottest hitters in baseball at the moment, absolutely tattooing the ball, every ball he sees. Last but not least, we got Garrett Cole over 8.5 strikeouts, minus 150. Took a beating on that one. Finished the day with 7. He got robbed of strikeout. He could have put away several guys on 0-2, 1-2, 2-2 counts. Mentioned that it had to be at least six guys today. And we got hosed because had he gone out for the 6th inning, he had a legitimate shot to strike out 2 Rays to close it out. So hopefully we get to go 1 for 3 today.
I think another trend you got to monitor for at least now is you should start taking the under on DeGrom strikeouts, because they are pulling this guy with like 60 pitches, 70 pitches. And it's a joke because he's striking everybody out. And they're saying, oh, you're out after 5 or 6. So he's not going to get the double-digit totals, which we know he would get if he's going 7, 8 innings. He can every night.
Mets can't get out of their own way, Nick, when it comes to that. I mean, let the guy pitch. Let the man throw.
All right. Let pitchers pitch. I tweeted that the other day.
Let pitchers pitch, right.
And it backfired.
Does Castellanos get over on his total bases
tonight? Are you asking me for tonight?
Yes, sir.
Well, they're playing the Cardinals. Who we got pitching for the Cardinals? Wainwright. His career against Wainwright, 2 for 9. That's small sample size, but
tough matchup.
It is. You know what, man? I want to give Castellanos the benefit of the doubt. You never know. He's always good for.
Might get some good odds with it.
Yeah, he's always got
odds with it. Yeah.
It's I don't have it in front of me, but it's probably about minus 110, minus 115 to go over 1.5 total bases. Castellanos, dude, he's leading the league in average. He's an extra base hit machine. I think in the last 4 or 5 seasons, nobody's got more extra base hits than him. So you always got to give a guy like that a shot, and he could put one out at any given time, take 4 bases in one swing.
Plus a walk and a single gets it done, or a double.
No, it's hits. You have to have hits.
Oh, you have to have hits.
Walks, okay. If it counted, Acuna would have hit, but it's got to be hits. So as we're wrapping up the show, we have our sponsor, Emerging Player of the Night, Nick. Who is it?
Chris Paul. He's going to come out like an assassin tonight and close out the Lakers. See ya, LeBron James. See ya, Anthony Davis. The Suns are moving on to the next round. They will not be going to the NBA Finals, though. The Utah Jazz will, with Donovan Mitchell, our guy. But Chris Paul, he's finally going to do it. He's going to put away, the doubters, the critics here. He's going to send LeBron, off to the Hollywood red carpets to do his press junket for Space Jam 2. And that's going to be it. Chris Paul, his brother Cliff is going to be very happy. We'll see a ton of State Farm commercials during this game. No doubt about it. And the Suns are moving on to the next round. Congratulations to Chris Paul.
Yeah, he's going to take care of his old buddy, LeBron James, in Game 6 tonight.
All right, Nick, you missed it last week. We want to give you the floor here. What's your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I'm gonna do a little bit on the Knicks and the Mets. The Knicks here, they made the playoffs, but they're in a bad spot here because they have the cap space. There's no mega free agent going to be on the market. I'm afraid they're going to use that cap space to pay Julius Randle. Very unlucky in the sense that they had to draft RJ Barrett at the third pick, where you got John Morant and Zion Williamson are so much better than this guy. Unbelievable that they're stuck with RJ Barrett. Neither of these guys can hit a shot in the postseason. We'll see what they do there. And final thoughts with the Mets are they're hanging in there right now. They are in first place, but they have this brutal stretch coming up in June where they're playing 11 games in a week. They have 3 doubleheaders, so I'm kind of worried about that. John, you could speak to their weak pitching outside of the big stars. David Peterson lasted an inning against the Diamondbacks, gets a 5-0 lead in the first. He loses it. Absolutely brutal. Joey Lucchesi, he's horrible. Syndergaard's out until August now. Carrasco, who knows if he's ever going to pitch. And the Mets are in a bad spot where they need pitching, they need players, but the whole league knows that. So it's going to be very hard for the general manager to make any trades. But kudos to the guys who filled in, except for Cameron Maybin, who was like 1 for 29. He was brutal. Good thing he's gone. Offense is hanging tight, but we'll see now. We'll see if they can get through June. And then, as we talked about earlier, some teams are looking to sell. Expect the Mets to be hot and heavy and in on all deals.
Well, let me tell you something here. It's funny you mentioned the Mets now because, yes, it's bad news on Syndergaard, but listen, as long as he's making progress, what have I told you all year? As long as they're around 500, heading around mid to late June, fine. But guess what here? Let's looking at the present day, they are 4.5 games up on the next leader of the NL East. They are sitting pretty right now in terms of wins, in terms of their position in the division. So, yes, there's reason to worry, but as long as they just find ways to hang in there, weather this storm, because I do think help is on the way. If not, dude, Stephen Cohen, his first season as owner of the New York Mets with a winner on his hands, is not going to let this thing slip through his grasp. He's going to go get whoever he's got to get to just patch this thing together and hold down the fort. Francisco Lindor is going to come around. The offense is going to come around. It just sucks. Everybody's getting hurt at one time. But you know something? This is the test of a good team. We're going to see if the Mets are a good team. They certainly bought enough pieces. Now we're going to see what they're really made of.
Yep, McNeil and Nimmo, they get back and hit the 2 and J.D. Davis probably another 5 weeks, and Conforto as well. So that's kind of tough. They got the Padres 4-game set tonight through the weekend, and they're playing them again next weekend. So, that's 7 games there, which are very could swing your record big time for the next week and a half. Like I mentioned, at the end of June, they have 11 games in 1 week, which is unheard of. But that's the way the league goes these days with the letters and the makeups and COVID and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a little hectic there for the Mets. Switching gears for my final thoughts here. Jake Evans, the hit that Mark Sheffelli, I don't know how to say his last name, guy for the Winnipeg Jets, put an absolutely dirty hit on Jake Evans, knocked him out cold, 5-minute charging penalty and game misconduct. A senseless hit. I mean, he's putting the net in. It's an empty net goal, and he lines him up before Evans even gets to the puck, basically. And you go see the hit for yourself. I mean, it's atrocious.
Hockey. We're talking hockey on our final thoughts.
Yeah, I did. I went with that.
Talking about that. Kyle's franchise and his Madden game and Dynasty mode. And
it's NFL head coach. Get it right, Nick. And
are you the quarterback? Are you the quarterback?
I do. I'm getting rid of Cutler. He can't get it done.
All right, jerk offs. We're wrapping up here, so appreciate it. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at _JohnnyVTV. To my right, he's at Nick_Durst. And we had our boy Justin Henry, J Hen on. He's at Justin Influencer. And Kyle, as we know, does not have a Twitter because
I want to make a suggestion. I want to have like a small little reveal thing for a 5-minute segment.
No. Shut up, Kyle. Lastly, we have check us out on Instagram. I'm at the Gambling Guinea. Next to me is at Nick's Food and Stuff. And below me, who doesn't have a Twitter, Kyle, he's at the Kyle Donnelly. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We got a lot more action. We got a lot more stuff to talk about next week. As usual, thanks for tuning in. Talk to you.